Shalom. I'd like to talk a little bit about Hebrew vowels. Now, the Hebrew language is very different than many other languages, most of the languages which we're familiar with, because the vowels are actually not a part of the alphabet, by and large. There are three actually consonants that can function as vowels, but in general, Hebrew vowels stand outside of the alphabet. And so Hebrew manuscripts, and your Hebrew Bible, and any Hebrew that you read will be just consonants as the actual letters. And the vowels are dots and dashes that either usually are underneath the underneath the consonants, but in some cases are between or on top of certain consonants. There are 5 basic sounds created by Hebrew vowels. The Hebrew word for vowel, by the way, is tenuah, which you hopefully will hear as familiar from the word pictures that you listened to this week. Tenuah. Now, there are 5 sounds that Hebrew vowels make, and they are, if any of you have taken Spanish, for instance, you'll recognize these 5 vowel sounds. They're the pure form of the English vowel sounds. I've got them written here. So we've got ah sounds, and ah class. They call them A class vowels, but the sound is ah. Ah, A, represented by the letter E, which can be a little bit confusing. Ah, A, E. The sound is E, but it's represented by the English letter I. A, A, E, O, U. Those 5 sounds are the only sounds made by by Hebrew vowels. So you will not have an A, for instance. You don't say Adonai. You say Adonai. You don't say Adonai, nay. I don't even know how to say that. Adonai, right? A-O-I, I. So there are diphthongs as well. But sticking with just the vowels. So within these 5 different sounds, there can be long or short versions, or the composite is uber short. So for the A-class vowels that make the sound ah, the long version is represented by what looks like a T, right? And this goes underneath the vowel, so we've got a little square there. That's called a comets. The short is a patach. It's just a straight line that also goes beneath the letter. Comets, patach, both make the sound ah. Now, there's technically a difference between the long and short vowels. Although in pronunciation, in a lot of cases, there's really no distinction made. The distinction is probably sharpest with the E-class vowels, which are pronounced A. The long is actually pronounced A, as in gray, like EY. Or sometimes it's this is the letter, the vowel tsere. Sometimes it's a tsere yod, if you can see that. Tsere yod is also a long version. But generally, in the charts, you'll see just a tsere. And the short is called a segol. Segol. And you can hear segol, is a shorter version of a. So it's the same basic sound, but you don't hold it out as long. So you've got a, comet, patach, tsere, and segol. So it's just a shorter version of the same basic sound. The E sound, which is an I-class vowel, but it makes the sound E, is the hirik yod. So this is a case where you have a consonant that is doubling as a vowel, or it's functioning as a vowel. Hirik yod. E. It's a long E. The short version is just a hirik. Just a hirik, which also you can't differentiate between hirik yod and hirik. They're both E sound. Here we have our O vowel, which is another consonantal vowel. The holim vav. Holim vav. And the short version is just the holim. The holim is the one vowel that is actually above the consonants. You can see here it's above and to the left of, so it generally is between two consonants. And for the holim vav, it's just a holim on top of the vav. And finally, the U class vowel, is a shurek vav, which is a dagish. Instead of the dagish being on top of the vav, making it O sound, the dagish was eaten by the vav, or the vav is pregnant with a dagish, however you prefer, and it makes an U sound. We differentiate between the holim and the shurek by making a dagish with the fist, and you say, oh, if the holim is on top of the head, and ooh, if the dagish is in the tummy, right? So, oh, holim vav and shurek vav. And finally, the last short vowel is a kibbutz. Kibbutz. 3 dots in descending order. And then finally we have composite vowels, which are the shortest vowels possible. And they're made by combining the short vowel of one of the three. There's only 3 composite vowels. So short version of the A vowel, which is the patach. Short version of the E class vowel, which is the segol. And a short version of an O class vowel, which is kamet hatuf, which is a different version of the kamis that makes an O sound. So here we've got hataf patach, or a composite patach, or you can call it a patach shava, because it's the combination of a patach with a shava. Same for the segol, hataf segol, or segol shava. The segol next to a shava, and finally here in the O, you've got the kametz shava, or hataf kametz, which actually makes an O sound. It's not an A, it's O. And the shortest vowel of all is the shava, which makes just a eh. It's very short. In fact, sometimes it's silent. Sometimes the shava will close a syllable. And in that case, it's not pronounced. It's just silent.